the Real Men's Channel with Player Supreme.
Yeah, fellas, welcome to the show. Well, it seems like fear still reigns supreme amongst males today. My generation, we had our own dose of fear. Our government poured fear into our heads. I was a military child, so they really poured the fear in of Russians and atomic bombs. The generation before had the fear of the Germans, the Italians, the Japanese, World War II. Before that generation, it was the Germans again. Fear exists. I just read how a guy on YouTube is afraid to buy my products because he thinks he'll get hacked by Thailand or some other place. So he's afraid to go to my site, the Player Supreme Show, also. That's just fear. That's all that is. It's a common theme that I've noticed amongst males who end up on the internet looking for answers, which comprises the majority of people listening to me right now. Fear dominates your life. You live in fear. Even though, so far, not one single person, not even half of a person, if there were such a thing were possible, has been hacked by buying one of my products. It's all because, well, actually, this fella's reason is because he doesn't realize it's fear. It's not because some Palestinians, when I did a Google Hangout, hacked the Player Supreme Show site. Like they would sit there and continually try to hack my site. That's what his fear is, I guess. But really, the base of that is just plain old simple fear. Fear stops weak men dead in their tracks. Notice I said weak men. There comes a time in every man's life where he has to stand up and be a man and sally forth despite fear. My generation went through that. Every man that has a woman has went through that. They have stood up, been men, and sallied forth. It is the generation of males that are watching me right now that are struggling in the game who have not stood up as men and went forward. They let fear stop them. Now, the person I'm referring to has a lot of fears. I see it in his comments. Fear is his number one enemy, whether he realizes it or not. Fear stops him. So I've got him on a boot camp going out just saying hello to people, just to get him used to doing something of action. Because action destroys fear. Fear cannot live in the presence of action. It weakens it. Action is a masculine thing to do. So it increases your masculine energy. When you increase your masculine energy on the physical side, you actually develop more testosterone. You start behaving more manly. You start thinking more manly. When you start thinking more manly, things like, I don't want to buy one of your products because I might get hacked. Even though evidence has shown not one person, not even, as I said earlier, half of a person, not even a hint of anyone who's ever bought anything from me has gotten hacked. Again, it's because of that incident, and those clowns went away. Not only did Arc, but the server company cleaned it all out. And I changed my passwords to stronger passwords. What they did was they hacked the site. They can't hack PayPal. Think about that. Do you see how fear blew all this up in his mind and created these fake scenarios? And fear destroys reality. He's not seeing the reality. Just as you guys who are afraid to walk over to a girl that has even given you eye contact has done. You distorted reality. Oh, she's not looking at me. She can't be looking at me. And on you bleat like sheep. Unfortunately, that is the realm of weak men. That's why I'm here. To help you destroy and conquer your fear and become real men. I get asked all the time by weak men, what is a real man? A real man is a man who has learned to control himself and his weaknesses. Okay? Let's leave it at that simple definition. Because when you have control of yourself and your weaknesses, and you eradicate your weaknesses or reduce them to where you could function as a man of power and a man of strength, charisma, magnetism, because fear destroys all that within you. People can't feel your energy when you're full of fear out there blinking, looking demure, trying to be a nice guy, being a sheep. They can't feel your energy. And that's what I'm about. Helping uncover the shit that's caking your body so people can feel and smell you as a man. Your battle is inside of you. Your battle has always been inside of you, as I've been ranting about since 2002, at least. When I showed up on the internet, as I've said numerous times, and some of you are probably tired to hear me say this, but I've always been about being a real man since the beginning. Getting started on your path. Now, the path to becoming a real man, a man who has complete control over himself, has eradicated or reduced his weaknesses to where he can control them. He shines. That's what women are looking for, are men that shine. So if you're fucking ugly, sorry, average, fucking average, big balding head, feminine mannerisms, becoming a real man will burn all that away. You'll still have the big head like I do, big balding head, but you'll think like a real man. You'll present yourself like a real man. Now, I don't believe in hunting at the gym. There's a girl at the gym. She's my type. I like white chicks mostly. I love my sisters too, but I just don't want the drama. Short, buffed, curvy at the same time. Long blonde ponytail. You know the type. They're short. They got a bubble butt. She has a bubble butt, but has gained weight. So her hips and thighs look soft and delicious. Her upper body's fucking buffed. Short. She works out at the gym. I made eye contact with her before. I admire her her entire body. Today we made eye contact and smiled. Although I'm a fat guy, she could still feel my presence. I was on the bike. Commercial came on, so when commercials come on, I look at people working out and sometimes just shake my head. We locked eyes, smiled. Big deal. But my point of the story is she could feel. She could feel. Women know when they're in the presence of a man. And I've had this happen over and over and over again. Even as a fat, what the internet nerds call me, a fat guy. Not a big guy with fat in his fat belly dude, but a fat guy. So I take that moniker and I wear it. Clowningly so. Oh, Supreme, you really need to think about your health. Like I don't. Even in this condition, that is the type of energy that you want to develop. When you walk into a room, you want people to turn and look at you. If you creep into a room and the majority of women don't turn, then you've got a ways to go. In consulting with Greece, he's experiencing this now everywhere he goes. And I've got to put together my new Greece product. Not product, but show. I'm really proud of the development that's going on with Greece. He took the energetic route, which is off the track of what I've been teaching. He went straight to the core of it, underneath everything. Interesting how he saw that and did that. Didn't expect anybody to do that. Although I did have some person, it might have been Greece, many years ago, that asked me to teach him the metaphysical side of the game, the energy side of it. Whether you want to believe it or not, there is an energetic side to everything, because in physics they teach us everything is about energy, vibration. When you have fear within you, you vibrate at a lower rate. Fear stops your higher level vibration. Lack of confidence stops your higher level vibration. Fear destroys and distorts your reality. Again, the person on YouTube. Not one person who has went to the Player Supreme show, not even half of a person who keeps saying that, because that's how weird, creepy, odd this person's sight is to me. Being closer to a normal person. That's how I see that. Like, what? Really? That's how someone on close to the normal band would think when they are presented with something weird and strange. Not one person who has visited the Player Supreme show has ever had a problem. Not one person. Not one person. Yet this person sits in fear. Quietly fearing in the dark. Interesting. If you could step out of your heads and into mine and see it from my point of view, the point of view of a man who's mastered most of his weaknesses and rose in his life and in the game, then you would see what I'm talking about. Fear. It always comes down to fear. If we look at the energetic side of fear, it's low vibration. Things that are of low vibration. This is why I will not ever join the MGTOW movement, the TFL movement, the incel. Although I have been practicing celibacy, as I now reveal, partial celibacy, I've been slowing myself down to once a week to see what the effects would be on the energy side. If you notice, I've been extremely busy. What it did was it made me get busy. Every time I get horny, I take the energy, I tap into the energy. When you get horny, you feel something, right? You feel energy. It's actually energy. So I take that energy and I focus it with my mind on objectives and goals. That is the transmutation of sex energy. It's what I did with women as well. In a state of horniness, I would focus with my mind and project it into them. And I got extremely interesting results, as you have seen. So I've been channeling that energy into work because I'm the type that needs it. I'm not orderly, neat and orderly with a studious mind. I'm all over the place. If you're right brain, and when you reach this age, you've lost those elements of control that you've used before because you don't use them as often. Like in school, if you're young in school, you got your mind tight. But I'm using my sexual energy to tighten down on my mind and focus and bend the laws of attraction through force of will, as I have always done. It's a feeling thing for me because I'm kinesthetic. For some of you, it might be a visual thing where you visualize, because you're visual, the energy, and you visualize what you want. If you're about words, you channel your energy into the words. I want to achieve blah, blah, blah. I want to achieve blah, blah, blah. Visual, I see. You have a good imagination, so you picture in your imagination. My dominant force or path is to feel what it feels like to drive down the road in, say, a new car, although that's not what I want, or a new truck. To feel. Then when you can add all of the rest of the other sides to it, it becomes a powerful force. But you first want to access, as I teach this. This is from my sexual transmutation material. You first want to access your dominant way of accessing energy or knowledge. We all have a different access point. The way to tell that is how do you receive love? If a girl is to show that she loves you, how do you want it? Let me reverse that. If you were talking to a girl, you want to see whether she's visual, auditory, or kinesthetic first. Study the way she likes to receive love. If you buy her something, that means you're showing her that sight. She has to see visible signs of your affection. If all you got to do is say it, and she lights up the room, then she's auditory. If you touch her, then she lights up just from you touching her, from physical contact, then she's kinesthetic. Okay? That's her first pathway. Then you can add the auditory and visual if you want to get into her head. You start with the touch, because let's say this is your girlfriend or someone you're fucking. You start with a touch, and you just touch her for a while. You just stroke her, touch her hair, touch her face. Even massage works good for that type, which is my type. I know, because I'm that type, as I said. That's why I like it when Jovina. I used to have her rub my head every night, just so I can go to sleep and rub my back. Now I have her scratch my back every night. I have to be touched. They've done studies with monkeys. I mentioned this before, but there's new people listening. They've done studies with monkeys, and they took away the mothers for the monkeys, so they had no touch. This fucked up the monkeys. They became antisocial. As you know, monkeys have a social organization. They've done studies with touch and babies. People always, someone on the forum said when I was talking about my mother, that was really uncalled for. Not knowing the reality that I've lived in. Some jackass said that, who isn't here right now. That was uncalled for. I think we went a little too far. A mother that does not cry when her son dies? No. See, people don't see where, people need to step into your shoes to understand where you are coming from. So, kinesthetic people, we need to touch. Auditory people, they need to hear it all the time. They need to hear it. Women, they do access their ears. They do access their eyes. But what is their dominant one? Now let's get back to you. In channeling energy, you have a dominant way of accessing that works for you. And you got to figure out what it is yourself. Are you visual? Are you auditory? Or are you kinesthetic? Okay? When you access the energy of horniness, that's what you channel your energy into. And for me, it's a feeling thing. I feel the energy. I can feel it. I can feel it right now as I'm talking about it, just the base of it. And I can take that energy and channel it. I can feel it going through my entire body. For those of you guys who are very left brain, robotic, just think of it like this. When you get horny, there's a release of hormones. Okay? So there is a physical side to it. Now, underneath the physical side is the energetic side, the vibration. So I take that vibration and I channel it. You've seen yogis do amazing things with their bodies. You've seen them stop their heart. You've seen them not breathe for 20 minutes. At least I'm assuming you are worldly and you've seen these things. There's a man on YouTube that can take his ki, Japanese, or chi, and light fires with it. So you take that energy and you channel it, as I've been doing. Interesting. I feel more alive now. You guys who are just going celibate, not whacking off, this is why I'm going to have to come out with my product, because you need to learn to channel that energy. Otherwise, you sit there and you defeat yourself. You suffer. If you don't use that energy, think of what it's doing to your bodies. Think of what it's doing to your world on an energetic side. The law of attraction. I want to come. You've always been in a state of wanting to come. Eventually, the majority of you fail at it. And if you learn to channel this into your dreams and your goals, you will become more successful in your life, and you won't feel that. You'll learn to use energy and channel energy as Greece has done in his life. Greece 2000. He said to me in the last session that he doesn't even need to mind fuck anymore. Lays his hands and thinks it. And I've got so much proof on my hard drive that I've got to share with you fellas. So there we go. And that's our show.